All my life, looking at the moon, I've seen an open mouth of a snake with a man sitting underneath it. And I used to drum, staring at the moon for hours, sometimes all night, in California when I was in high school. And it's amazing it hasn't changed since then. It's still the same, no matter where I see it from anywhere in the world. I wanted to write my whole life. I started writing all the hunting and fishing tales from my family in Alaska. So all the times that we almost died through the year as my dad would take us down rivers with rafts where he didn't have any experience, or we'd be out hiking with bears. And so I wrote all these near-death experiences and gave them as Christmas presents. And I always knew that I wanted to write, that that's all I wanted to do. But I just could never get published, and I couldn't make any money at it. So I went to sea and I became a captain on sailboats, and I ended up building boats because I couldn't get published. I grew up in Alaska, and then my parents divorced, and my father asked me to spend a year back in Alaska with him. And I said no, and then soon after is when he killed himself, when I was 13. So I felt very guilty afterward, and I felt like if I had said yes, maybe my father would still be alive. So Sukkan Island is really a second chance. It's the boy going back and saying yes to spending that year with his father. I didn't realize that when I was writing it. It was very unconscious, but I think now that's what it is. Everything I write has true family stories in the background, and to me that's where the emotional and psychological weight comes from. And I think the unconscious is making a kind of transformation of that very ugly past material into the fiction. My book came out in 800 copies with 3 reviews in the US, but then in England and then France and now Spain, it's just been incredible, the response. And mostly it's been booksellers that have really supported me. And basically booksellers have changed my life. You know, they've told people about the book and sold it for more than a year, and just incredible. So the Premio Libretter, that was like a real high point in my life, to have a bookseller's prize. So I basically owe them. You know, a writer needs luck, and it's basically a gift, what people give, you know. Yeah, because of what's happened in Europe, the US pays a lot more attention to me now. Sukkan Island had only 3 reviews, and Caribou Island had 25, and a profile in the New York Times. So the New York Times has actually always been supportive. It was one of the 3 reviews for Sukkan Island, and really launched the possibility of having the book come out in other languages. So they've been great all along, but for everyone else, their reviews say, it's a good book, it's well written, but don't buy it, it's dark and depressing. You know, in the US, people are big babies about reading tragedy, so I don't think it'll ever be a good home for me. I think Europe is much better. I prefer it here. Gracias a la cara oculta de la luna, and thank you. I hope you enjoy the books, and it's fantastic to be here in Pamplona.